Coronavirus cases continue to surge across the U.S.
A medical marijuana dispensary in Ottawa County, Oklahoma says the pandemic has not slowed down medical marijuana sales. They'll explain why coming up.
Could the pandemic have a permanent impact on Black Friday shopping?
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
The number of confirmed COVID-19 cases in the U.S. has soared past 13 million, with over 264,000 deaths. This is KOAM News at 10. See, health experts say another even bigger surge is coming, even as plans are being drawn up for distributing vaccines. Elise Preston reports from New York.
The CDC will hold an emergency meeting next week to determine who will get the first coronavirus vaccine. On Tuesday, a committee will hold a non-binding vote on which groups should have priority. Healthcare providers and residents of long-term care facilities could be first in line, followed by first responders and other essential workers, and then people over 65 and those with pre-existing medical conditions. 2 companies, Pfizer and Moderna, are seeking emergency use authorization for their vaccines. The FDA will rule on Pfizer's request on December 10th. If approved, the vaccines will arrive with the pandemic spreading out of control in much of the U.S. 32 states are now reporting higher infection numbers. This week, new records were set in Pennsylvania, in Arkansas, and in Massachusetts.
We are almost full or full kind of every day.
On Thanksgiving Day, more than 90,000 COVID-19 patients were hospitalized in the U.S. That's also a record, and the new number has been rising steadily for weeks.
Everybody's got their masks on, so it's been fine.
Many stores reported fewer customers on Black Friday, the traditional start of the holiday shopping season. In some places, social distancing rules tamed the often frantic event.
We were a little bit concerned about crowd size, and once we got out here, the crowd sizes are small, so we've been able to social distance.
Public health experts are bracing for another COVID-19 surge after the long holiday weekend.
What's done is done in terms of our Thanksgiving Day gatherings. If you learn that someone from your Thanksgiving gathering has COVID or came down with COVID or is sick, then you definitely want to quarantine.
An estimated 50 million Americans ignored the official advice to stay home and traveled somewhere this week. As many as 6.5 million flew to their destinations. Elise Preston, CBS News, New York.
A COVID vaccine may be on the horizon, but who will get it first? That's what the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention have to decide. The CDC's Advisory Committee for Immunization Practices has scheduled an emergency meeting for Tuesday to discuss vaccine allocation. Draft recommendations have suggested frontline healthcare workers should be first, followed by people likely to catch, spread, and develop severe disease. That would be populations like nursing home residents. Doug Heddy joining us from home with a first check of the forecast. I stepped outside. For me, it is freezing out there, and I understand that's not going to be far from the truth.
Yeah, actually for us tonight, we are going to be pretty cold. We're going to drop all the way back to about 30, 32 degrees for an overnight low. At least today actually turned out to be pretty good. It was cooler than what we had yesterday. 35 to start, 55 was our high, pretty close to where we should be for this time of the year. Clear skies, not much is going on out here. We do have some clouds to our south, but I really think we look pretty good until tomorrow night when that little wave out across New Mexico will start to head in our direction. It is cold. We're about 30 to about 35. I think all of us will drop back about another 5 degrees as we go through the overnight hours. But at least it's not as windy as what we had earlier. We had kind of breezy conditions, and now the winds are near calm. So about 30 for an overnight low. If you live really north of Pittsburgh, Lamar, Parsons, most likely upper 20s for overnight lows. 38 by 9, 49 by noon. Clouds will increase through the day. We're going to have some rain chances. We'll talk about that here shortly.
All right, Doug, thank you. The Jasper County Health Department is reporting 4 more COVID-19 related deaths. The health department says the patients were all men, each in their 60s, 70s, 80s, and 90s. The 4 latest deaths brings the county's total to 75. The medical marijuana industry continues to boom in Oklahoma, and one Ottawa County dispensary says the pandemic hasn't hurt them like it has so many other businesses. KOAM's Mike Mahoney paid him a visit to find out why.
A new Politico article says that Oklahoma is now the biggest medical marijuana market in the country on a per capita basis, with almost 10% of the state's population possessing legal cannabis cards. And the staff at the Higher Health Dispensary in Afton agrees that business is booming.
It definitely grows because we have our just regulars from in-state, but we also have an out-of-state program where we offer store credits.
The coronavirus has been devastating to businesses across the globe, but that doesn't include this dispensary, and its employees think they know why.
COVID's not taking people's problems and pain away, so people still need their medication. So yeah, I mean, we're still seeing a steady flow, even with the pandemic going on.
The cannabis seems to really help a lot of people that are going through, these stressful times during COVID.
The coronavirus may not have affected this dispensary's bottom line, but it has changed the way they do business. Plexiglass shielding protects employees, the number of guests allowed inside is limited, and visitors are encouraged to mask up and stay 6 feet apart. But those precautions don't seem to be bringing anyone visiting the Higher Health Dispensary down.
That's one of the best feelings, is helping people out, sending them out the door with a smile on their face and knowing they got the product that's going to help them deal with whatever they've got hurting going on.
In Afton, Oklahoma, Mike Mahoney, KOAM News.
Now, despite the popularity of their product, the Higher Health Dispensary still held a Black Friday sale today. Some medical professionals disagree with Oklahoma's decision to allow COVID-positive nurses and staff to continue working as long as they aren't showing symptoms. The Oklahoma State Department of Health says it should only be allowed as a last resort. Officials with the Oklahoma Nurses Association say those workers should be home quarantining like everyone else who tests positive. OSDH says hospitals and nursing homes should instead recruit more staff, hire temporary staff, or transfer patients to other care centers with adequate staff. As the pandemic continues, nonprofits across the 4 states continue to make changes. That includes the Salvation Army, which is gearing up for its annual Christmas Assistance Program. Earlier this month, the Salvation Army of Jasper and Newton County held sign-ups for the annual Christmas Assistance Program, where families in need get a meal for Thanksgiving and Christmas, and kids get gifts. The organization says it signed up 534 and more than 1,200 families. A drive-through Christmas distribution is planned for December 22nd. If you still need help, there are several of our Toy Box partners who are still taking applications. Newton County Christmas for Kids goes until December 10th. Cherokee County Toy Box is taking applications until December 15th. You can find more information on our website at koamnewsnow.com. Well, still ahead, experts say the pandemic could have a permanent impact on the way people shop for Black Friday. We went to find out what 4-staters think. And Thanksgiving is over. Turkey leftovers are in the fridge, and that means it's time to buy your Christmas tree. We'll find out what folks are looking for in the perfect tree. Experts speculate that the pandemic could change Black Friday forever as online sales take the front seat. The National Retail Federation estimated that sales during this holiday season would grow by around 5% over last year, with much of that growth, as much as 30%, coming from online sales as the pandemic forces the need to limit crowd sizes. But that doesn't mean that some people didn't get out and support their local businesses.
I think it is important, especially for smaller businesses, especially like in this area. So that's why I come out and support. And plus, there's less people, of course, and everything. I don't want to give all my money to the big retailers all the time.
The National Retail Federation expects online sales this shopping weekend to exceed $200 billion nationwide. And that brings us to today's KOAM News Now Instapoll question. Do you think the pandemic will permanently change the way you do Black Friday shopping? We started this poll during our 6 p.m. newscast, and here's the results so far. 72% of you say no, it's not going to change your shopping at all for Black Friday, and 28% of you said it is going to change your shopping. You can vote at koamnewsnow.com/vote or through the KOAM News Now mobile app. The results are updated live, and we'll check back in on them here in just a bit. Well, today kicks off this year's KOAM Toy Box campaign. For the 32nd year, we will take your donated toys and money and turn them into a Merry Christmas for area children. This year, we, like a lot of folks, are changing some things up. So if you do plan on dropping off toys at the station, you'll notice some changes to the way we're accepting them to maximize social distancing. Masks will also be required for those dropping off toys if you want to bring them inside. We'll also be making changes to our telethons with remote phone locations instead of having them inside our studio. And the kind folks at Equity Bank unofficially got the campaign started earlier this week with some shopping. A volunteer from Equity told us they get involved for the same reason many of you donate, to help kids in need in our community.
It's a great feeling. Anytime you can get back to your local communities and help the youth out here, it's a big deal. There's a lot of kids that probably wouldn't be getting any type of Christmas if not for programs like this.
Our first Toy Box Tuesday telethon is this coming Tuesday. Now that Thanksgiving is over, lots of folks are now getting into the Christmas spirit. We sent KOAM photojournalist Daniel Camp to Bridgestone Christmas Tree Farm near Webb City to find out what four-staters are looking for.
I don't know, kind of just picking it out is more fun. Actually got to cut down a tree and say we cut it down so we can have the experience of doing it and just to where we can tell everyone, and so we just had the experience.
I'd say it's about 50-50 on the people that cut down a tree versus the people that just want to pre-cut. It's a great feeling to see the little kids come out and they get to run around and pick out, you know, their perfect tree. Even though it might not be perfect to mom and dad, it's perfect to the little ones, and that's what's important.
I get to be with my family. We get to just hang out and take as long as we want.
Every year we try to offer something for the families to come out and you know, look forward to. We've got the gift shop where they can browse and buy Christmas items. So it's a family environment that we're trying to, you know, instill in them to come back year after year.
This is going to be a tradition that I carry on with my family.
We specialize in creating those memories for families that come out and get a live tree and start the tradition of getting that live tree every year. So it's neat to see them come out every year.
Well, after a hectic year for U.S. mail between the pandemic and the election, the Postal Service is recommending you mail your holiday gifts early. The week of December 14th is expected to be the peak this year for the busiest time for mailing, shipping, and delivery. With more online shopping expected than ever before, the USPS is expanding Sunday deliveries in high package volume locations. Mail carriers will also be delivering Priority Mail Express packages on Christmas Day for an additional fee. If you are sending first-class mail, the recommended deadline is to ship by December 18th. Starting December 19th, it is recommended you use Priority Mail to make sure your packages arrive before Christmas. The Postal Service's social media sites have tips and how-to videos for the latest information on holiday shipping. Well, Doug Heddy is up next with his complete 7-day forecast. Plus, we'll have the results on our Instapoll question about whether the pandemic will permanently change the way you do Black Friday shopping. And we'll find out why Delta Airlines was forced to cancel hundreds of flights during one of the busiest travel weeks of the year.
Well, it turned out to be a pretty good Friday for us today. Not as warm as what we had yesterday, but still, hey, we'll take it right about where we should be for this time of the year, as we did go into the mid-50s during the afternoon. Great time lapse. Indigo Sky Casino and Resort, of course, on the outskirts of Seneca, but you can see we had pretty much clear skies most of the day, just a few little mid and upper level clouds that rotated through. Great shot of the sun setting. All right, heading into the weekend, it's going to be a great Saturday. Again, weather looks pretty good, but we are going to get some rain chances tomorrow night, just scattered showers into Sunday. And then our next system, rain, possibly snow chances by the middle of next week. Of course, you can always get my long-range forecast on my month-long blog, KOAMnewsnow.com. It is kind of cold. Most of us like 30 to about 35, a little bit warmer once you get into northeastern Oklahoma and then also southwestern parts of Missouri, mainly along and south of I-44. But I do think most of us are going to drop back right around 30 later on tonight. At least we don't have the winds that we had earlier today. You can see we have a north wind, fairly light, calm to about 5 miles per hour. So at least we don't have much of a wind chill, but it was breezy out there earlier today. 35 east, northeasterly winds are light. Humidity is kind of high at about 82%, but we have clear skies. Nothing is going on here. In fact, you have to track south. This weak little wave rotated through last night, gave us some clouds, gave us some fog, and a few sprinkles. Next wave, very disorganized, very small. You can see it right across New Mexico into the panhandles of Oklahoma and Texas. But this little upper level wave, it's going to rotate right on top of us tomorrow night. As it does so, it's going to bring clouds and then even a few scattered showers for us late tomorrow night into Sunday morning. Tonight's fine. It's just going to be cold. Temperatures right around 30. Plenty of sunshine to start the day. Then we're going to get these mid and upper level clouds kind of sneaking in by mid to late afternoon. But I still think temperatures about the same as what we saw today. So Saturday looks pretty good. 30 to start, 49 by noon. High temp right around 54. We're going to have those south winds at about 5 to 10. Let's go into tomorrow evening and tomorrow night. Clouds increase. After midnight, I think we'll start to get some light drizzle and a few random showers. Most of the rain stays to our south, but we are going to get some random showers into Sunday morning. And then by Sunday afternoon, this system will start to push on by. It will really kind of wrap up across the eastern third of the country. But on the back side of the system, we're going to have northerly winds, kind of strong. It will pull in some cooler air, so Monday's going to be kind of chilly. Next system behind that rotates in on Wednesday. You can see that little spin up near Omaha. This is very disorganized as well, but if we can get some moisture into it, I do think we'll have some rain, possibly some snow chances by the middle of next week. All right, tonight cold 30, 54 tomorrow, 50 on Sunday. Those morning showers, 45 on Monday, overnight lows into the 20s, and then that next system moving in on Wednesday and Thursday of next week.
Doug, thank you so much. Still ahead.
Absolutely.
Delta Airlines cancels hundreds of flights during one of the busiest travel holidays of the year. But first,
a federal court delivers the Trump campaign another blow. I'm Natalie Brand with what a Pennsylvania judge said about the president's claims of election fraud.
President Trump's legal team suffered another loss in court today, a day after the president repeated his claims of widespread election fraud. His lawyers are vowing to take the case to the Supreme Court even as the transition process is underway. Natalie Brand is at the White House with more.
President Trump took in a round of golf early Friday before heading off to Camp David. Speaking to reporters on Thanksgiving evening, the president again made baseless claims.
This election was a fraud. It was a rigged election.
Friday, a federal appeals court in Pennsylvania added to the Trump campaign's recent losses, rejecting a lawsuit there. Judge Stephanos Bibas, a President Trump appointee, wrote, "Charges require specific allegations and then proof. We have neither here." The president also said he'll travel to Georgia, rallying voters to back Republicans in 2 runoff elections in January. That will determine which party controls the U.S. Senate.
Maybe I'll go twice. It's very important that we win those races.
President Trump told reporters he will vacate the White House on January 20th if the Electoral College formalizes the victory of President-elect Joe Biden, which it's on track to do in mid-December.
From Delaware, the president-elect tweeted an acknowledgement to America's indigenous communities Friday, writing, "Let's commit to writing a new future together." The transition team also tweeted out a racial equity plan focused on the economy and police reform proposals. Despite the transition that's now underway, the Trump administration is trying to push forward with more regulatory rollbacks, making headway Friday to cut federal protections of migratory birds. The National Audubon Society is calling on the Biden-Harris administration to reinstate those rules if the change goes through. Natalie Brand, CBS News, the White House.
The Milwaukee County Election Commission completed its recount of the 2020 presidential election this evening. The results showed that President-elect Joe Biden's vote count increased by 257 votes for a revised total of 317,527. And President Trump's vote count increased by 125 votes for a revised total of 134,482. Delta Airlines was forced to cancel flights during one of the biggest travel weeks of the year. The airline says a surge in Thanksgiving demand was taxing its limited pandemic-era workforce. Nearly 1 in every 5 flights Delta scheduled on Thanksgiving Day were canceled. In all, more than 500 flights were dropped this week. The airline expects things to return to normal over the weekend. The union representing Delta's pilots says a reduction in pilots due to the pandemic and a drop in travel led to a smaller pool of available workers this week. Got a final check of your forecast next. We take time now to honor a local veteran, Sergeant Eugene Krudwig. The Joplin native served in the U.S. Army, and we are proud to salute Sergeant Eugene Krudwig. He's tonight's four-state hero. And that brings us to today's KOAM News Now Instapoll question. Do you think the pandemic will permanently change the way you do Black Friday shopping? Well, the poll is now closed, and tonight 71% of you said no, it's not going to change your shopping, and 29% of you said yes. So thank you for participating tonight. Well, a great scientific mind that helped spark curiosity among a generation of children, including me, is celebrating a birthday. That's right. Bill Nye, the science guy. He's 65 years old today. Nye is, of course, a science activist and the host of the popular science-focused show from the 90s, Bill Nye, the Science Guy. Checking now in with Doug. Neither of us are at 65 yet, but I suspect we'll probably look even better than he does.
Yeah, we still got a ways to go, thankfully, but hey, at least our temperatures are going to be at least older than what we are, higher than what we are, as we're going to be into the mid-50s tomorrow, 54 for a high. We are going to get a few showers in here tomorrow night into Sunday morning, high temp right around 50 degrees.
All right, Doug, thank you. That's our time for now. We'll see you tomorrow. Have a great night.